Yeah, I'm not feeling this. Let's play some music in the background so I could actually, you know, because I feel mad awkward. Hello. Hey guys. Yeah, I realized that in a beginner friendly makeup routine, you should probably use beginner friendly products, you know, just in case the person doesn't wear makeup like that or they're just starting makeup. So this is a drugstore only beginner friendly makeup routine. So of course we do our skincare before putting any makeup on. As I stated in my previous glowy makeup routine, I don't think products matter unless we're talking about foundation, concealer, and powder, but there's still some very good foundations, concealers, and powders at a drugstore, you know? So we're starting off with primer. This is actually a primer that I just use like often. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. She's good, she's tacky, and if you have acne prone skin, they do have one that has salicylic acid, so I highly recommend this. This was actually one of the first primers I used. I believe I used to use a NYX one, but then they changed the formula and I read the reviews and they weren't good, so I started using this because I heard good things about it. But the texture, since I was so used to a smoother primer feeling, I was like, why is my face so sticky? Like, it just felt yucky in the beginning, but now I'm used to it. And it honestly makes sense. You know, it is called a Power Grip Primer, and you know, my makeup stays all day whenever I do need my makeup to stay all day. So I start my makeup off with brows. This is the e.l.f. Brow Pencil. I'm not sure if you guys could see it, but I'm not sure what color this is because I lost both caps, but it's brown. Of course, what you start off with is preference, but I do think starting off with brows is easier. So I kind of underline my brows like this, and then do the top as well. So I'm kind of just outlining them. And then I fill in wherever I feel like needs it. I don't do the entire brow because, I don't know, I'm not too fond of my brows being too dark, you know? And so I do the same thing to the other side. I need to get my eyebrows done. I feel like doing your brows is so much easier when your eyebrows are done, but it's all good. I'm brushing it out with the spoolie side just to blend it out and make it less harsh. And to make sure they do not move, I'm using NYX brow glue. So I'm brushing it up. And then just go like this. And then I pat it in with my finger so that it's kind of stuck on my face. I don't like it being too stuck, so I'm making sure I don't put too much pressure on my face. But of course, it's all preference. Next step is carving out the brows. I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer. It's such a beginner-friendly concealer. I love it. But to carve out my brows, I'm just gonna go with my brow shape. I'm making sure not too much is on my applicator, because that just helps me control it more. Tell me what to do. Okay. Tell me what to do. Okay. Tell me what to do. All I know is hit the mall to see what damage I could do. Okay. And I'm gonna blend it with this foundation brush. I like this brush because it is flat, and so it helps me just blend really easy. I love it. And so if you're just starting out with makeup, honestly, you don't have to use the brushes for what they say they are supposed to be used for, you know, just go by what feels right. So next up is under eye concealer. I use two concealers, one that's closer to my skin tone and one that is a little lighter. Not necessary. You could just find a concealer that's about one shade, two shades lighter. If you're a beginner, maybe you might like one shade lighter, but I use two because I like to highlight the inside and outside of my eyes. So I'm taking the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Pure Beige, and I'm putting it on the inside and the outside of my under eyes. And you're probably looking at me like, girl, that is way too light. But it all works out in the end, I promise. All I know is hit the mall to see what damage I could do. Okay. Oh, this is Cool Tan, and I'm putting it in the middle, just like that. And I'm taking the same Cool Tan and I'm gonna put it on my chin, the bridge of my nose. Oh my gosh, that was, whoa. I'm gonna fix that. And a little bit on my forehead, because if I don't fix this, my nose is gonna look so, you know, but okay. That's good enough. And I'm gonna blend this out with my finger, but I'm not blending it out all the way. Take me out the trap, take me off the market, take me off the map. I'm trying to hit the group chat and tell them it's a calm and red. So letting your concealer sit there allows it to be more full coverage, and it's easier to blend out the rest of your makeup, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So while it's sitting there, I'm going to put on foundation. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade 355. It's also called Coconut. I'm taking the Real Techniques brush in 200. This is their face brush. And with this, I am going over the concealer that I put on my chin, the bridge of my nose, and on my forehead, but I'm not going over the one that I put under my eyes. I actually really like this foundation, or maybe I'm biased because this is the first foundation that I started using. Because before I started using foundation, I would just do one of those, you know, concealer only looks, but then like in pictures, I would look insane. Like I wouldn't even put it on my forehead, and then in pictures, you could definitely tell. It looked great in person, or at least that's what I thought. I look insane. I don't know if I have any pictures because I'm a very, very, very avid picture deleter, but y'all are just gonna have to take my word. On some days, I like applying my blush before my concealer. I just feel like it blends more smoothly and it looks more seamless that way. So I do have two options. I have the e.l.f. Putty blush, love her, or I have the Undone Beauty Lip to Cheek blush. This you could use on your cheeks. You could use it as kind of a lipstick. I'm not sure if I'm going for red. This is in the shade Bali, or pink. This is in the shade Dahlia. I feel like we're feeling pink because I have on this pink scarf, but oh, yo, I don't know. Or both. Since I can't decide, I'm gonna put on both. This is the e.l.f. Angled Blush Brush. This is the first blush that I used because before I would just use eyeshadows as blush. So I would use orange eyeshadows, red eyeshadows, pinks, and then I was like, I should probably get an actual blush. I mean, don't get me wrong, eyeshadows, you know, it looks just like blush when you put it on your cheeks. But I was like, I want to be blush girly really bad. And now I very much am. If you look at my pictures, I love blush. Because when I first started makeup, I was like, oh, like it doesn't make sense for black girls to put on blush because, you know, it doesn't make sense. What are we talking about? Like, what? I'm so glad I grew out of that because I love blush. But now, finally, I'm going to blend out this concealer. And then the excess, I'm literally just gonna, I don't know if that's actually, I think it did a little something because I do plan on putting powder there. With Drugstore makeup, I use Black Opal True Colors foundation stick and Carob. I'm not sure how common this is to be seen at drugstores. I mean, of course you could order it online, but this is my favorite. But an alternative is the Revlon's 5-in-1 concealer. This is in the shade 75. I don't think this is the darkest. This is just what my store had. But today I'm using the Black Opal one. I'm just going to contour my face. I'm not going to, you know, say exactly my strategy because we all have different face shapes. So do what you feel like will look best on you. My main tip with makeup is just doing your makeup to accentuate your features, you know. So you're not just going to say, oh, this is this person's contour map. And why would you do that if you don't even have the same face shape? Why would you do that if you don't have any of the same features? Even if you had one feature alike, you don't have everything else alike, you know? So just do with what works with you. And then I'm just going to blend it out. I have no clue which brush this is, but this is by e.l.f. I'm sure this is one for your eyes, but I like using it for my nose contour. To set the concealer, we have the Airspun Translucent Powder. This is actually a pretty controversial powder because people say that it gives them flashback, but I will show you guys a technique that I've done that helps you with that. If you don't want a translucent powder, you could use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. This is in the shade 35. This is what it looks like. Very, very good as well. I will use this to carve out my contour hair. And that's just because I don't like a harsh contour hair, but like anywhere else, fine. So I'm just taking a powder puff. This is in my storefront. And so I'm doing the left side of my under eye. I'm going to put powder on the right side of the powder puff, but I'm gonna wipe it off. And then I'm going to tap because that's just way too much powder even though you wiped it off. And then place it under my eyes and then wipe it off. And I'm just gonna keep tapping until I feel like that's it, you know? I feel like this isn't a powder that you should bake with because of, you know, all the problems that people run into with flashback. You're just gonna look crazy. So now I'm doing the right side. I'm gonna put powder on the left side of the powder puff, wipe it off. Ooh, let's actually put a lot on there. Tap, put some, tap again, and work it in. And then I'm just gonna put whatever I have left over on my forehead. Now for the Fit Me to carve out my concealer here, I'm using the same technique, putting the powder on, wiping it off, tapping it off, carving it out. But it's way less harsh because it's closer to my skin tone. This is the setting spray I'm using. It's from e.l.f. It's the Stay All Night setting spray. I'll put a decent amount on. For lashes, I will be applying Kiss clusters. I'll have them linked. But for mascara, I'm using the Telescopic mascara. And now for our lip combo. This is actually an OG lip combo for me. This is the NYX lip liner in Espresso and the NYX butter gloss in Praline. All of NYX butter glosses that I've tried have been so pretty. I recommend, if you never tried any of their colors, to try Praline first because it was the first one I tried. It got me hooked. As soon as I started using it, I was like, oh, okay. And also, when I first started doing makeup, I didn't line my lips. And so when I first started lining my lips, I used a dark purple eyeliner to line my lips. And I don't think it was noticeable, but when I was introduced to brown, I haven't went back. Like, look at how pretty Praline is. It's so pretty. For good measure, I'm going to spray some setting spray again. Okay, so my camera died. I completely forgot what I was even saying. I think it's pretty cute. I mean, of course, you could add whatever you want to add. If you want to put highlighter, girl. I used to be a highlight girl. Now, of course, if you have any questions, just comment down below. Everything should be linked. If not, it should be listed. Or just check my storefront or any links that I have in my Linktree. But that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Thank you. Oh, thumbnail. How do people make thumbnails? I'm just gonna take pictures because I feel like this, like, I look crazy.